A few years ago, African creative economy was like a sleeping giant. Well, that may have been true. But today, many believe that we have woken up from our sleepiness. My question today is, have we really woken up? What is the future of African creatives? Hello and welcome to SMA Talks, the podcast. My name is Ayodeji Saraki. On today's episode, I have my guest with me, and it's not other than Benjamin Osazua. I got that right.
You got it right this time.
Hello, Ben. How you doing?
I'm very well, Deji.
Yeah, cool.
Deji. Ayodeji.
Ayodeji. Yeah, good to have you.
I'm same here, man.
So today's topic, I'd like us to discuss the future of Africa's creatives, because we know that we have a lot of creatives in Africa. You know, using Nigeria as a case study, we all know that we have so many of them, from the musicians to the producers to the craftsmen and women to the actors and actresses to basically, I would like us to define creative, or like to define creative as anyone who actually creates something from nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So you write a script, you come up with this character, or you write a good book. You know, you could also be referred to as a creative.
Valid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my first question to you is, can creatives really lose value over time?
The truth is yes. Okay. But that'll be a very long time from now. I feel like African creatives are just coming into the limelight now. Okay. Really. And a few years from now, I feel like it's only going to get better for them. Say, within the next...
You say them 10. Like you're one of them.
Yeah. I'm saying generally, for us, anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, for us.
Okay, so right? for those of you who don't know Ben, I should have done that. Ben is a photographer. He's one of the best photographers I've come across.
There's a lot of hype.
You know, I mean, and he works for top brands. I mean, I know you did some work with African Couture. Mm-hmm. You also have some work with maybe a bit Willie Brown.
Yeah.
You have some work with name them yourself.
Betty's and Beyond. The list is literally endless.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So you said African creatives, that you think there's a long way for African creatives, and that because what I believe or what I think is, you know, things are changing rapidly. We have technology. You know, the advent of technology has made things really change. So the way we used to do things are different from how we used to do things now. And the fact is, a lot of our counterparts abroad, especially the Western world, they are really ahead of us with this technology. And if we are not careful, it would be so difficult for us to meet them. You know, if you look at how movies are being produced now, though I give credit to Nollywood, they're doing a lot, you know, in terms of creating good movies in recent times. But when you look at how the Hollywood, for example, even the Bollywood, how they tell their own stories, the type of camera, the interpretation, you know, they are really way ahead right now. And I know that we are also doing a lot. Like I said in my intro, we're sleeping, but now many believe that we're woken up. So
African giants.
Yes, African giants, we're woken up. And still on African giant, famous singer that calls himself African giant, Burna Boy, Lua Burna. And we also
who is now Twice a Store,
yeah. And we also have several giants too from Africa. Yeah. We have Davido, we have Wizkid, we have Two-Face, but literally all Nigerian singers.
Even Kuti is coming in now.
Of course.
It's coming in really heavy.
The Kuti families, we have the Made Kuti, we have Sheon Kuti, Femi Kuti, the Kutis to their father, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, etc. Yeah. So do you think there's really a future for African creatives? Don't just look at it in the context of maybe Nigerians alone, but for the African continent, our fellow Africans in Uganda, in Ghana, in South Africa. Do you think there's a future?
I do, man. Deji, I really do. I feel like creatives in Africa may be the lifeline of the Nigerian economy or African economy, in truth. Because A lot of people do not pay attention to this really, but the entertainment industry in Africa is actually doing a lot of heavy lifting economic wise, right? It is helping create exposure for Nigeria and alas, helping create a better name for Africa, right?
Yeah.
So we've heard of one of the latest news I heard was of a collaboration that happened, a partnership actually that happened between a Nigerian company and an American company. I'm saying one of the biggest companies in America, Warren Brothers, like Disney, like they're big. Do you understand? So partnering with a Nigerian company, a startup Nigerian company, Kogali, was a very, what's the word? It wasn't seen. Like, we could have predicted that like a year ago, really. Like, it would have come to our mind a year ago. But these people are collaborating on a new project that is going to debut in 2022, I think. Yeah, and it's beautiful, man. These experiences. I mean, look at Burna Boy with his collaboration on Beyonce's album, right? And then look at the beautiful things a lot of Africans are doing, globally. I mean, we're starting to collaborate, which is bringing Africa to limelight, and the creatives are really doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, true, absolutely. But what do you think hinders African creativity or creatives in Africa? You're a creative yourself. What do you think hinders creatives? When you talk to your colleagues in the industry, what do they tell you? Because I've spoken to quite a number of people, and what people tell me is, oh, Deji, if I had the opportunity to leave this country, if I did Yankee, for example, I've been in so level, I would have done this better, I would do this better. What do you think hinders young creatives in Nigeria or perhaps Africa right now?
So I'll speak for Nigeria because I know it better than any other country in Africa.
Yeah, she's where you're from, obviously.
Yeah. I think the one thing that really is a very big problem, right, is our policy. Yeah, there are lots of creatives who want to express themselves but do not have proper guidance by the policies in Nigeria, right? I'm saying their rights, right? There's literally no document that really says, Omo Afa, this is the right of you as a creative in this country. And when this happens, this is what you need to do to protect your rights. That does not happen in Nigeria. A lot of content developers are being taken for granted. I'm saying models are being paid stipends, and they really do not know how to defend themselves when these things happen, because there's no structure.
Yeah.
Right, in terms of policy, there's no structure, zero. Like, it's almost like as though they are marginalized to the point of, like, they're not valued.
But if you're to look at, let me use Nollywood for example, they've been able to build a structure for themselves over the years. But there's a lot. We always believe that we shouldn't always wait for government to do everything for us.
True.
However, the role of government can't be overlooked, because if we have laws that really protect creatives' interest
creatives.
So, for example, we have piracy.
Do you understand?
With dub movies and all of that. A creative. I remember when Genevieve's movie, partnership with Netflix, that was Lionheart, yeah. When it came out, and before I think I was driving by one of these bus stops, and I saw people in traffic selling the movie,
the pirated version.
Yeah, the pirated version. And as of I haven't even seen it yet on Netflix.
Do you get me?
And I was like, how about you should even allow the young lady make her money first?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's part of what I'm saying. We have, like you talked about structure now. So we have an issue with structure.
So the thing is, Deji, the thing is, creative is a very, very, the term creative, right? Creative developers in Africa or in the world globally, right, is a very big umbrella. It covers a lot of people. I'm saying arts and craft. I'm saying entertainment, photography, videography, cinematography. Like, it covers music. Yeah. Do you understand? Yeah. It has so wide a range that it's something you cannot just rationally make a comment over. Like, it's something you have to go into the details, right? I'll speak for my field.
Okay.
Photography, for example, there are not many policies that govern a photographer's right to owning his images. For example, I introduced this to my clients a couple of days ago, and they were stoned. They were oblivious to the possibility of a photographer having license to his images. And I'm like, yo, I make these images. Yeah.
Of course,
yeah.
you have to have a license.
Do you understand? Like, as in, I make these images, and by right, they are my creation.
True.
Right? You have employed me to do this. That does not take my right away. What it does is it creates a leverage for me to share this right with you.
With you.
Now, I have the right to state how long I want you to have this right for. But it is not a thing in Nigeria. Now, this is a very big deal in Yankee, bro. Like, as in, people get sued on the regular for using another photographer's image. But Nigerians don't understand the context in which that can happen, right? So check this out. Let me give you a scenario. I make an image for you, you like the image, you think it's your face. Afa, this is a very brilliant image. You put it up on your website, and then you start to get money into your business. Now, what I took those pictures for were your birthday, right? But at the end of the day, you're using that picture for your business. I feel shortchanged, but I can lock up, right? Where it hurts me is when you now merchandise that particular content. You now put that content on a platform like Shutterstock, for example, and you start to sell a product that I created without my consent or without my notice.
Sure.
At the end of the day, you are making money with my sweat, and I am somewhere lounging.
And you are sleeping.
Do you understand, my brother?
Yeah.
So people do not understand how all of this plays in the long run. So I think policy is one thing we really need to look into. And I think, again, is going to be
So you think that if we have the right policies in place at the moment, do you think policy is one of the things that hinders
motivation,
creatives?
bro. Motivation, man. Why do people go to church? People go to church for motivation.
People go to church because they want to hear the word of God.
Bro,
and
people
feel
go
good
to
about
church
themselves.
for motivation. I go to church for motivation.
Okay.
Do you understand? I go to church because I want to feel lifted. I want to feel like, oh, there's a God out there who cares about me, and I can do this. Yeah. Do you understand? I want to feel motivated. I want to feel encouraged. I want to find hope again. That's why I go to church, right?
Cool.
And pastors merchandise this. They sell it to you and they tell you, okay, come to church today for so and so offering. You'll be able to get the motivation you need, right?
Okay.
Right? Now, when you find a brick of hope, bro, people are willing to pay for it. Whether or not it looks like you're paying directly or not, people are willing to pay for it.
I think I agree with that.
Do you understand? That is what policy would be for us. We won't mind. We need hope, right? We need our rights protected. We need that, no matter what happens, the law has your back.
True.
You can do this and do it well. Because people start to neglect the amount of effort that you put into creating. For a lot of people, it comes easy. For some, it's mathematics, bro. Like, they legit have to sit down. For me, right? I'll call myself a creative. It doesn't come as easy to me all the time. True. Because I'm not directly creating something from oblivion most of the time. So some people think you create out of oblivion, right? For me, for example, it's pretty mathematical. You hit me up and you're like, yo, Alpha, I need you to help me create this, Benjamin. This is what I would like it. This is the target audience I'd like it to reach. This is the demographic. This is the way I would like it to look, the tone, the mood, and all of that, right? Now, all of this is in your head. It's my responsibility to bring out what you are imagining to life. Do you understand? So most times, I am the one creating what you are thinking about. Do you understand?
Because you are the creative, many people are the consumers.
So this is going to...
we consume what you create.
So this is going to involve a series of mathematical analysis, like of what would look best. How would it look like? What would enough look like? Should this be the perfect amount of brightness on this image? What would the right kind of mood?
Okay, I understand. Before we even go into the technicalities of your work and all of that, I'd like us to talk about, like, I'll take it back to the topic, the future of African creatives. So now, let's look at it in terms of...
We sweet fat.
That's what I'm saying. So in terms of the economy, for example, because I know that social media has really helped a lot of African creatives. And there are a lot of comedians now that built their entire career, out of on the back of social media, because that's one of the good social media has done. Now, don't you fear that in maybe 30, 50 years, African creatives will be held at ransom in terms of you might just be creating, but you don't even have license like you were talking about. And it would get to a point where the Mark Zuckerberg and the Bill Gates and all the people that run all the social medias, they completely own all the licenses. And you really can't use it. So you're just getting peanuts out of it. And that might eventually discourage, other people going into that space. I mean, in future creatives that want to venture into that. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I do, man. That is possible. There's little or nothing that, as an individual creative, we could do. But I think that's where our government comes in play, really. I mean, finding a middle ground. This is not fair, really, between creatives, people who create content for your business, right? I mean, without us, they are nothing, in truth. But I feel like that may not be the case in future. What I feel would happen would be a continuous upgrade on our creative ability, because I feel like we're growing at an alarming rate as creatives in Africa. Okay. Really, I feel like we're becoming more exposed. A lot of people are now venturing into different parts of creativity. You're now seeing people who are making fusion of different types of music, right? It's becoming broader now, right? You are now seeing lots of photographers who are now manipulating and adding 3D to photography, right? You're seeing a lot of videographers who are now merging 3D, and that's CGI and videography.
But do you think that is sustainable? Because
I think it is.
To some people, they feel it's just a woke culture. Though I have my reservations with that line woke. I find it.
I don't think I understand. Do you think it's a trend?
Yes, a trend. That's what I think.
No,
like
I don't think it is. I think it's evolution. Okay. I don't think it's a trend. I think it's evolution. Okay. I mean, like you rightly said, social media has come to help us, not only connect with each other, but it has created a platform for us to express ourselves and show it to the world. Yeah. Which means getting what I think to you becomes a lot more easier. Back in the days, if I made a drawing, probably with charcoal, or made a sculpture or painting or whatever, before it gets to you, it take light years, right? Sure. But now all I have to do is just do it, take a picture of it and send to you. So imagine how many people I can do that with. Imagine me sending a nice image I make in Nigeria to Chanel, for example. And Chanel says, yo, I like this. When are you coming to America? I would like to do a project with you, right? So imagine a lot of Africans seeing this opportunity and becoming awakened to it, and finding the need to exploring it. Imagine us exploring it over this period of 30 years. What do you think will happen?
Magnificent.
Do you understand me?
I'd like to look at it from another angle of, now, arguably, African artists or African creatives are one of the most celebrated, or if not the most celebrated, creatives in the world as we speak. We have many artists from Nigeria that are doing great things around the world. And even if you look at many of the creatives, even in the West, if you look at America, for example, you see that many of the top guys and women in creative space are black people. They're Africans of African descent. So what do you think made African creatives unique? Should we say is our peculiarities based on religion, our culture? Maybe we have a certain way at which we, our culture influences what we do, or maybe we have a certain tradition, or is it religion?
So
what do you think it is? Ethnicity? What do you think?
Yeah, so creativity is a method of expression in its barest level, right? So you want to be creative, and what you have is what you give, really.
You can't give what
you don't have, right? So with this knowledge, what do I have, right? What I have is what I know. What I know is what I've experienced. What I've experienced is where I am.
But that also brings me to the assumption, because a lot of people think that the most successful creatives have been through horrible times, and that is like the birth of their creativity. People always believe, for you to write the best book, for example, you must have
Arguably, bro.
experienced some certain level of darkness.
No, not true.
Or some
entirely.
certain level of suffering, for it to really come out. The suffering may not be maybe physically that you have been hungry. It could be you suffered as a result of maybe you lost a parent or you lost a loved one. And that was how you were able to connect to this bigger whatever that brought this creativity for you. So many Africans think that. What do you think?
Yeah. So experience is literally
I mean, we're a
everything.
product of experiences,
Do you understand?
right?
We're a product of experiences.
so would
Experience
you
in our
say-
culture, in our tradition, experience from our friends.
Okay, let me put you on the spot now.
Okay.
I've seen your work and you do great photography, and that's why I mentioned
you.
if anyone was listening, they'll hear I've mentioned how the great things great brands you have worked with.
Okay.
So, would you say you have been through some certain struggle? How was your upbringing like? What made you very good at what you do, that you can see an image or you can see just the sky and you just know the perfect angle to take it from?
So apart from study, really,
Yeah.
apart from, okay, so I think if I was to itemize it, I would say you get a lot of influences in whatever it is you do before, as a creator, in whatever it is you create, right? You are influenced by a lot of things before you create whatever it is you do, by your religion, by your tradition, by your experience. You are influenced also by your teachings. I did study art.
Okay.
Right, I went to art school.
Oh, nice.
So I think I understand what proportion would look like, in contrast to whatever, right? And what angle to take whatever image I'm taking from and all of that, right? Because I know the details, right?
Okay.
That's education, right? Now, experience-wise, my childhood was not. I would not say my childhood, really influenced the work I create right now.
Okay.
But what I know is my personality does influence the work I create right now.
Okay.
Right? I'm a finicky person. At least I like to believe I am a finicky person. Right? What this means is I like to work with detail.
Okay.
I'm really detailed. I fuss over it. It affects me somehow when I see a problem and I don't solve it. Right? So I'm like, okay, I'm working on this image right now. I know this angle is the perfect angle to work with. I know this is what should be. The other element I think will come in play is going to be that finicky nature of mine, right? Which is that part that says, yo, straight lines have to be straight lines, bro. Curves need to be perfect curves.
Yeah.
So if you're working with something like a rod that really doesn't have so many bent or movable parts, I mean, it needs to be straight, right? So if I'm editing, I need to make sure it is perfectly straight.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Or if I'm probably
Should I say
editing the
you
person's
have
face.
photographic OCD? Should I say that? Obsessive compulsive disorder.
No, man, I don't think that is it.
Okay.
I just feel like I fuss over detail, and I feel like this personality type has played a role in my art, and has made it unique. So if you go on our Instagram page, Viral Studios, sorry, I'm doing this pub.
Oh
right
no,
now.
you should. Please check out his Instagram page. It has lovely, amazing pictures.
Yeah.
At Be Real Studios
Yeah.
on, I think, Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram.
Is it on Twitter too? Oh.
It's on Twitter at the same name. It's
Okay.
also on LinkedIn at the same name. But
Okay.
on Facebook, it's at Be Real Photography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you check on our social media pages,
Yeah.
you'd find that most of the images are not. I won't say they have a lot of drama going on in them. They're really very minimalist and simple and clean.
Okay. So tell me, I'm really interested about this. How do you work? Like, what's your ritual?
Workflow.
Yes.
Okay. Workflow. So there's edit workflow. There's okay. So let me just do the entire thing, right?
Okay.
It's either a client hits us up or we have a client would like to work with, and then we send a message to them saying, hi, we like what you create, would like to document them for you or whatever.
No, I know. I mean, when you're about to do something, or when you're given a task, for example.
Okay. So
when
definitely
someone
we'll go
says,
through the mood boarding stage.
yes,
Right. So
when someone says, do me an advert of maybe this product, or take pictures of certain product. What is going through your head? How do you execute it? I would like to know the emotions and how you'd know that this is the right thing to do with this product?
So emotionally, I only come in play when I have the camera. Before then, I'm off it. It's all about the client.
Okay.
Right? So the client brings a job, and what happens is we do this back and forth, right, with mood boards, right,
Okay.
trying to get into the mind of the client and understand where he or she is coming from and what they would like, right?
Okay.
When we're done with that phase, what happens next is a lot of soul searching, right? Okay, this is what he wants. This is what we can do. So we pen these things down, and we look for a way to bring them to life, probably through an image that somebody else has done, or maybe through a drawing that we can make for ourselves. And then we show the client the sketches, and when we're okay, we go into creating these images, right?
Yeah.
So all the elements come to play here, including my emotion at this time, because now I'm with the camera and I'm like, okay, this feels right. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. This is what the mood board said we should do. Let's follow it to that level, and then the rest part is going to be, the photographer's input into it. So that's where the creative angle now comes in, and how my relationship with the model is going to walk through that entire process. Okay, I think we should do it this way. How I make them smile, how I make them frown when they need to, and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to talk about partnership, because I believe that if Africa is really to have a future, African creatives, if they're to have a future in what we call creativity, in terms of mainstream success globally, if African creatives are to really have that, I personally believe we need partnership, and we can't overemphasize the importance of partnership. What I've noticed is a lot of, especially young creatives, don't like to partner, or are always it's always disturbing for them. We want to do everything on our own. So because you want to take the credit of everything, you want to be the CEO, and I'm the one that did this start to finish. And I think, when you partner, with other people, other brands, your colleagues in whatever industry you are as a creative, when you collaborations, I believe you reach wider audience. You can interpret the idea you're trying to bring to life in a multiple way that a lot of people can connect to it. So, for example, is in a country like Nigeria that we have 250 plus ethnicity. So we have different tribes. We have your Yoruba, Igbo. So, for example, you are Edo, right? Okay, I'm Yoruba man. So if we partner and we're both creatives, and maybe we want to shoot a skit, for example, we can infuse this skit with little of Yoruba, just like many musicians are doing now, gladly, using Yoruba or using their local dialect, their own language in the music. You can use Igbo or the language from your own place in Edo. So when we bring that together, the finished work is going to be so rich.
That's what happens. When you bring that together, what happens is new.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And new is one of the most marketable things you can ever imagine. Everything new is what everybody wants to go get. Do you get my point? So if Africa is going to have a future, it needs to be able to create new stuff. And one of the best ways to create new stuff is going to be by partnership. I'll give you a saying, right? It says, if you want to go fast, you go alone.
Yes, true.
If you want to go far, you go with
together.
someone.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if Africa really wants to go far, I feel like it's going to have to start thinking about how to collaborate a lot more often. Creatives are getting there knowledgeably. Creatives are starting to understand that, man, I may know a lot, but I don't know it all. Right? And I feel like this is important. Like you rightly mentioned, a lot of Africans or Nigerian music is now starting to do this collaboration of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Where they partner with other sounds and then they make magic happen. Take, for example, the birth of Burna Boy. It wasn't a thing before, right? Like, I watched an interview Burna was having with Trevor Noah, and he said this, right? Trevor Noah was like, yo, what's up? Explain how you make music to us. And this is what he said. He said, imagine my music is like, in his very African voice, of course. Imagine my music is like a pizza, and you have different flavors of pizza, right?
Yeah.
So imagine my sound, which is Afro sound, is the flour, right?
Okay.
Imagine it is the flour,
dough.
the dough, right? And then imagine that your pepperoni, your chicken, and every other sauce is literally any other genre of music.
Yeah.
Hence the term Afrofusion. Do you get? So now it is his ability to be able to collaborate other sounds with his unique sound, right? That helps him create fresh new ideas.
Yeah.
The world is stale, bro. We need new stuff.
We can't talk about. Anytime I talk about Burna Boy's music, I like to always, in that same vein, give credit to Fela Anikulapo Kuti for creating, that genre of music, the Afro beat. So, and Trevor Noah, which you talked about, I would even like to mention about Trevor Noah, is a good example. So, someone like that is one of those people that are really propagating Africans in terms of projecting Africans as people who are like very creative, because Trevor Noah is to me is the definition of someone who came from South Africa, got to the US, and he's doing and that to me just made me see as you can't what I'm trying to say is we like to strip who we are and take up this new persona to fit in. But what I'm saying is Trevor Noah does not do that.
He was original.
The reason why we have Trevor Noah and the world is talking about Trevor Noah is because Trevor Noah carries the boy from South Africa around constantly. He speaks like 4
South
languages. Yeah, it's even South Africa speaks Zulu, speaks Xhosa. And he blends everything together. If you want to make smoothie, and just imagine you have the blender.
He commercializes it.
You have the blender, you put some banana, you put some watermelon. So he's a blend of all of everything. And I think that's why a lot of people can connect. But if you think of it, I've noticed again, because I'm very observant, I like to notice things. Young people you see people using funny accents. They like to adopt the Western way of doing things always. And in my view, we can't get there. We can't be authentic if you don't carry or you don't acknowledge who you are. You can't strip yourself and take up another person's identity entirely, and you want to be appreciated.
So back to that thing of collaborations and partnership, right? Yeah. I don't think a lot of people understand that. It may to a lot of black people right now look like a very wrong thing to do, but what the Americans have done was find a way to amalgamate their tradition with that of Africa. I mean, arguably people say sounds generally came from Africa, dancing came from Africa, right? These people were able to create a world of their own by bringing a piece of Africa together with what they thought right was. I don't know if you get me. So at the end of the day, what happens is new.
Okay. Yes. What happens is new.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, what happens is new. What happens is a creation, Yeah. Something happens.
So, we're completely out of time. So I'd like to ask you, what are you working on? Like, at the moment, what can we look out for from you?
What I am working on at the moment, what can you look out for from me?
In the nearest future.
More jobs, man. More creations, really. More creations. So
you don't spill anything?
More collaborations, more partnerships. More partnerships, definitely more partnerships. And yeah, so we're going to be delving a lot more into commercial photography.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so like starting next year.
What's your brand of photography?
Commercial photography.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're going in deeper now, right? Okay. So commercial photography in Nigeria is not what it is globally. Commercial photography in Nigeria is you come and snap picture, right? But that's literally that is retail photography, right? When you take images for someone for his personal consumption, right? But what we do is create content for brands, right? So a lot of people now, right, who call themselves influencers, are doing that for brands, where they create a space for businesses to come in, right, and exist through them, right? But we are looking out to create a world where businesses can stand independent in Africa, right? They can with their voice say, this is us, this is what we stand for, and we project that, right? Take for example, Coca-Cola, who has done this for so long, right? I mean, it's be impossible for you to find somebody come outside and say, I'm influencing for Coca-Cola.
Exactly. You
Right?
don't need to.
What are you doing, bro?
You don't need to influence.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Right?
You're farming Coca-Cola.
You're farming Coca-Cola. Thank you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create globally competitive brands from Africa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And I'll be looking out for it. I hope a lot of people listening would also be looking out for it. So I'd like to ask you for the last time on this episode, do you really think there's a future for Africa?
Bro, there's a big future, man, because we are new, bro.
So in 50...
everything else has been experienced. We are fresh, we are new, and we're viral, we're ready to work, bro.
I know you're what do you, in 50 years, do you see African creative industry doing so well?
Yes, I do. I really do, man. With the right policies put in place, with the right level of motivation, with the right level of exposure, I believe we are well on our way. We've killed exposure already, man. There's Instagram now. So a lot of people get to experience us and our creative press and abilities. Yeah. And I feel like, the future is African.
The future is African. That's a good way to put it. The future is African. So on that note, thank you very much, Benjamin O, for for coming to the booth today to have this.
Thank you for having me, Ayodeji.
Yes, it's always very important. We talk about our own, and we talk about what it means to be African businesses, how the future of African creatives that we discussed, and anything that we believe our brothers and sisters can, key into and be aware of to make the African future we all desire a bright one. Yeah. On that note, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
And to you guys listening, see you soon. No, see you soon. See you soon, right?
Are you sure you don't like it?